Hi, this is Brother Teacher. I have another message for you today, and it involves purpose. I guess that would be a good way to describe it, and making the best out of what we are dealt with in terms of hands, as it were, in life. And I want to talk about failure. Why it is that we fail, and what is the greatest failure a man or woman can experience. What is the greatest mistake that a man or woman can make while on earth, living here? This is not a difficult subject. It's easier oftentimes for me to speak directly to another human being as opposed to me looking at a camera. And sometimes there's a tendency to become distracted when you have other things around you, and particularly when you're in your workplace and you can't really express yourself because you don't have another human being on the other side of you that you're talking to and trying to influence and or edify even. But the greatest uh, mistake a man or woman could make is to not be fulfilled while we are here on earth. I don't really know uh, how many people are going to be able to understand where I'm coming from. Hopefully, as many of you as will open your minds to understand. Uh, but there will be some that will question what I'm saying. There may even be cynical, very critical, but it's okay. It doesn't change the message because my purpose is not to please everyone. Never has been, never will be. I came to a realization a long time ago. The world is comprised of all types of people from all walks of life, all types of cultures, traditions, and backgrounds and belief systems. It is impossible for everyone to accept you for who you are, to uh, accept the truth, even when you make it as plain as possible. You can be as clear and concise with your explanation of what your subject material is, and there will always be at least one that will say, no, I'm not buying it. I'm not going to accept it. That's not true. And I don't even care. There will always be those individuals. And as a creator, as an influencer, an activist, a motivational speaker, a spiritual man, those are things that you have to just have a tough skin and just continue on to do what you're doing, because the Almighty Creator has ordained us to be who we are. Cut and dry. It's that simple. So, I'll say that to say this. When we all come into this world, it is not by accident. There's a divine purpose in us being here. Forget about past generations and uh, thousands of years ago. I'm speaking today in the present, 2020. April 28th, 2020, more proper. And I say again, the Almighty made us. He created us for a purpose. We are not here for no reason at all. Throughout our lives, we have developed belief systems. Some were given to us by our families, be it a single parent, both parents in the home, grandparents or aunts raising us, an orphanage maybe raising us, or a group of family members, maybe even the state in which you resided raised you, and then influenced by the masses. And then we are the summation. We are the total product, the end product of those life experiences. And we develop our own personality, our own belief system. As I said, many things that we have learned, that we have accepted, have never been proven even to us. We just basically took it for face value that it was true. So, some of us have come to the understanding that we have purpose and that we should be trying to find out what that purpose is. I, as I'm speaking to you, am on the journey. Not everyone is on the journey. There are some people just biding time. There are some people who are just existing, like the living dead, the walking dead, dawn of the dead. They don't know what their purpose is. They have no purpose. They are subject to the common everyday physical things such as shelter, food, clothing, maybe entertainment on some level. And that is all their life consists of. No goals, no aspirations, no particular goals that they set to better themselves as a man or woman, or a human being even. Just existing. How foolish is that? So, some of us, we engage in sexual relationships, social relationships. Some of us even become married. We have children, we raise our children. Some of us go to school, public school, private school, Catholic school, and we try to further our education. Sometimes the field of studies that we engage in, we may at some point in time find a job or occupation that's related to that. But that's not the case with many of us that go to college. There are so many people that I know that have master's degrees and even doctorates that work in the restaurant industry, in a pizza parlor, delivering pizzas, working on a switchboard, assistant manager or third key in a convenience store, working in a factory, somewhere in a position that they did not go to school for, which made 4, 5, 6 years of school or college of no purpose. Didn't benefit from it. But such is the world we live in. It happens every day. And you have this surmounting wall of debt from college that follows you to your grave, along with taxes and various other financial obligations. And God forbid you find yourself in the category of the working poor, even the middle class, the so-called middle class that existed 30 years ago have started to decline. And many of those folks, even from the white community, have had to reach out to the local government for assistance and food stamps. But at one time, they never ever would have imagined themselves in that position. But enough of that. I'm talking about not achieving your purpose. I can't tell you what your purpose is. I know what mine is because I am an individual and I'm independent. Not to say that I don't rely on someone or some group of individuals from time to time for assistance as I try and attempt to navigate through this thing called life. We all do. We need someone. We are a social creature. Even with this COVID-19 issue that's going on now, we are social creatures. Human beings are. We were designed to touch, to hold, to kiss, to embrace, to shake hands, to sleep alongside your husband or wife or your mate, to hug your children, to pick your baby up, to give your child a bath. We were not designed to be separated from one another. But that's another topic for another day that's coming soon. So, what is the greatest failure? I'm going to try to sum it up. I'll peer off from time to time and look at my notes to make sure that I don't leave anything out that I've written down. But I know this because I lived this, and I have lived this. And as I get older, I realize more every day how important our purpose is. My purpose, and I'll share part of that with you, is to make sure that everything that I can do while I'm living, everything that I can do to benefit another human being, to uplift another human being, to edify another human being, to strengthen or help to strengthen another human being, be it my own family, my children, or even someone I don't know. That's part of my purpose. And I've said this in time past, and you probably remember those of you that follow me. And if you haven't followed me, write this on your thumb. You see, when we die, all of the material things that we have amassed here on this earth are gone. And the next individual is going to pick it up, and they're going to belong your products, your earthly goods, if you will, or your earthly wares, and your materialism. It's going to go to someone else. The money that you had in the bank, the car that you used to drive, or your several cars or automobiles, your motorcycle, your home, someone else is going to take possession of that. And the unique thing about it, and the ironic thing about it, is that even they're going to have it for a temporary period of time. It's not even forever to them. And then when they die, it's going to be passed on to someone else. You see the cycle? So all of these people and all of us, as we leave this life, as we close our eyes for the last time, that permanent sleep, when we close our eyes for the last time, don't you think it's a good thing to have known that we've left something good behind to and for humanity? You see, the statement I was going to make that I say I've said in time past before is based on what I just told you. All of the things that you've accumulated, and even the skill sets that you have developed or obtained. You should leave that to someone. To not do that would be selfish and not fulfilling your job to humanity. Because if you don't leave it to someone, you'll die with it. And the fact that you even possessed it in the first time would really be void. It would be fruitless. So why have something that can benefit another human being? And I'm not talking about cars and money. I'm talking about how to make yourself a better human being. How to enrich the souls of the next generation. How to give someone hope that is in despair. How to help someone learn to respect themselves and others, and how to teach them how to have self-esteem, where they love themselves. These things are the greatest gifts. Love, according to the scripture, is the greatest thing. Are you leaving that behind? Or are you just simply taking it with you to your grave? That's what I was getting at. When you die, those things that you have accumulated in terms of knowledge, that wealth right there, if you haven't shared it with the world, you're taking it with you. But when you leave it behind, you're giving it to someone else so that it can be perpetuated, passed on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, keeping this thing called life going. You see, life is not just simply breathing. Life is a goal, and that ultimate goal is to meet our Creator and to see His face in peace. What better way to make sure that that comes to fruition than to treat our fellow man as if we want to be treated that same way? So, even on the material level, if you want to achieve something on this earthly plane that is materialistic, and it's okay. It's okay to own a business. It's okay to aspire to be great in a particular sport or a field of endeavor, a carpenter, an auto mechanic, someone who works in agriculture or whatever. Whatever you choose to do, whatever you choose to be, don't deny yourself of that thing. And don't allow anyone else to try to dictate to you what you should be. If your mom or dad has a particular occupation, it is unfair to you for them to try to impose that upon you if that's not what you really want to do. That's what I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen. That would be one of your greatest failures, is to not be you. As hard as it is for parents sometimes to look at a child of ours that we have given birth to, who has tattoos all over their bodies, piercings all in their face, cut off all their hair and changing the color of their hair, and picking up on a particular religion or a particular ideology that you disagree with because that's not how you were raised. It takes a lot from a parent. It takes a lot of energy from you, like oof, like you've been hit with a rock or boulder. Because we are ingrained in that thing in which we were taught, and that's our own belief system. Sometimes we have to learn how to let go. As hard as it is, we're hardwired with the value system that we were taught as parents. And our generation, our parents before us, were the same way. Some people like to say, well, you're stubborn. You're stuck in your ways. No, this is just simply my belief system based on how I was raised. And it's all I know. That's how my parents were before me, and their parents before them, and even I am today, and even my children after me. You're not stuck in your ways. That's simply your belief system. But your belief system is yours. It doesn't have to be your child's. So it's up to your child to define and to find out who they are. Define themselves is what I'm getting at. That's very important. To not know who you are and to not be who you are is denying who you are and what you truly could be, your true potential. And ultimately, that is what I was trying to say to you in this video. It would be a sad thing to die and to never truly realize our potential, our true potential, because we allow so many people to try and influence us when it's not who we really are. No one outside of us should ever try to dictate to us what we should be and how we should live our lives and how we should govern our lives and what direction we should take in our lives, unless we're doing something detrimental to ourselves. That's different. No one has that right. You must define who you are. Do you know who you are? Do you belong to you? Now we all know ultimately and above all things that the Creator has created everything. We belong to Him. But on this earthly plane, this is me. I would do myself and be doing myself a grave disservice to have another man tell me who I am and what I should represent. Especially when I know that's not what I believe. So, are you controlling your life? Or is someone else controlling your life? Are your children running you, for example? Are you trying to be your daughter's best friend, mothers or fathers, just because you were locked away in prison for some period of time and you get out? Or are you trying to make up to your son or your daughter or all of your children by lowering yourself to their level, condescending? We make mistakes. We falter, we fail, we stumble. We have obstacles get in our way. But one of the greatest disservices that we can do to ourselves also is after we have fallen, we stay there and we grovel in it. We become alcoholics and drug addicts because we can't face who we are anymore or face our family. But let me tell you this. We become strong through weakness. We do. We got to get hit hard sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can find out what's underneath, what we are really, really made of. Our trials, our tribulations, our tests, our challenges that we're faced with in our lives every single day are designed to make us who we should really be. You see, we walk around with a mask on, trying to pretend to be a certain way, or even pretend the way that we really want to be, as opposed to allowing the suffering to make us who we should be. Some might say it's faking the funk. You're trying to be happy, for example. You're painting this picture in front of your friends and your associates and your workers and co-workers at your job, that you're this jubilant, always happy, easygoing individual. But when trouble comes, when the test of life comes, when the burdens come and rest on your shoulders, you crumble. You can't look at it as you becoming or being a victim. You have to always look at it as just another challenge. that you're going to prepare yourself to overcome. Note that I said overcome. It is a beauty. It is a great thing to overcome. Because when you overcome, you can encourage and help someone else in the future to do the same. How can you be strong for your son or your daughter if you are broken and if you are overcome by the challenges that life can bring to you? One day, they're going to experience the same or similar situations. How can they cope with them better if you're not a good example? We know it hurts. We know it's painful. All of the things that can occur in your life from day to day. Losing a parent, losing your mother or your father, losing a child. I have a friend whose daughter just passed away at the age of 50 of a heart attack. And he made a statement that is pretty common now. Your children are supposed to bury you, not you bury your children. So what are you going to do if you're faced with that? Are you going to throw the towel in and give up and say, why me? Or it shouldn't happen to me. It happens to someone. You just don't want it to happen to you. The scripture says time and chance happens to all men, just like the fish is caught in the evil net. Never knows when his turn or his time is going to come, but it does come eventually. You see, it's going to rain one day, but just because you've been labeled as a good man doesn't mean that the man that's bad is not going to receive the same sunshine or the rain that you do. That's scripture. It rains on the unjust as well as the just. Rain doesn't have to be just physical rain. It could be wealth. Sometimes we look at things and we say, man, I'm always struggling, trying to do the right thing. And it always seems like someone who doesn't deserve money always has money. Always buying a brand new car every other year. Always getting a promotion on their job. Always have money. Always buying new things. They just moved into another house and so on and so forth. And these are evil people or these bad people. Why is it so hard for me? Time and chance happens to all men. It's just not your time. So learn to be patient. So I've rambled on. I hope you got my point. And if not, let me close the door for you on this chapter in this particular video. What is your point, brother teacher? It's simply this. The greatest failure that you can ever have in your life is simply to have not done those things that are most important while you are here. You know what those things are. Have you done them? And are you doing them? Don't let it be said too late. As always, Yahweh loves you, and I love you, truly. You have a good evening or a good day, depending upon where you are. So long.